is De'Aaron Fox getting a contract extension with the San Antonio Spurs. He's agreed to 4 years, $229 million maximum contract extension with the franchise. I want to get your thoughts first before I jump into it. But do you think that Fox is well deserving of this contract, or do you think not?
I mean, I think they're just trying to have somebody run alongside Wemby for a while with some consistency instead of making him feel like the Giannis situation, where 2 years from now everybody's gone, and now how do you keep him, right? Coupled with they're probably paying based off his performance in the season 2 years ago. Well, I guess not 3 years ago when they played the Warriors in the first round and how good he looked there before the injury. I think that's what they're hoping his ceiling is. If he's consistently that player, of course. In fact, if he's that player, you probably got him for cheaper than you could have. Now, we don't know what he's going to be, but this team is young. You got Dylan Harper back there. You obviously have Stefan Castle. We already mentioned Wemby. The team has some young talent, aside Sochan, aside from Wemby himself. So they're going to be moving. They're ready to go. They're trying to get, a nice stability there. And I don't think that Fox is, I don't think he's Luka or one of those kind of guys, obviously. But I do think he's still a great player, and he says and does all the right things. He's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with him there. And I think he fits the mold of San Antonio, where a lot of people didn't like being there in the past. I'm wearing a Blazers jersey, random, but I remember Marcus Aldridge, when he went there, he didn't like the scheme. A lot of other players don't like the scheme because, I know Popovich is not really the guy no more, but at the same time, that is the system they like to run, that kind of slower pace, old school fundamental ball, and it's not about the individual. I think De'Aaron Fox is a player that can be in that mold and not have a problem with it. Someone kind of like DeJounte Murray when he was there. So, yeah, they paid a little much for it. I don't think just especially off an injury, a player like Fox would have warranted that kind of money just in the open market, but I get it for them.
Yeah, that's my thing right there. Like, I'm all for players getting paid, man. I want all these players to get paid. I want all these athletes to do good. But in this situation right now and how it stands, I don't think that $229 million maximum contract extension is what Fox is worth. He's a one-time All-Star, one-time All NBA. He didn't do much with the Sacramento Kings. Like they went to the playoffs what once or twice in the last 20 years or whatever. What in the stint that he's been there, I think it's just once or twice. Um, really didn't do much there. Yes, he was a big part of that for sure. He's a very athletic scoring guard and he could run a team. He's a good playmaker. So I see why it makes sense of what you're saying. They trying to run him with Wemby, so they don't have another guard to actually run it with Wemby. But I think he's only going to be there for a few years because I think Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle, I think they're going to take over the realms, and it's just going to be Wemby, Castle, Harper running in them three, and they're going to look at Fox like, yo, man, we don't really need you anymore, man. We could trade you and get some picks, or maybe a good asset in return, and then more picks or some money, some compensation, whatever the case may be. But I think Fox would have been better. They would have been better with giving him like 180, 170, but 229, I feel like for me is just too much, and he hasn't really proved himself that much in that regard. But I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he goes out there and he shows that, you know what, I am worth this money. I'm gonna take the Spurs to the playoffs. Maybe we can go deep in the playoffs, maybe even get to the NBA finals if a miracle happens. But I do think that it is too much for him. But again, I hope he proves me wrong, and I hope he shows that he is worth that money.
Yeah, I mean, we've already got 2 years to prove that he's at a high enough value that you can bring in maybe a third person, because after that you would have to re-sign Wemby, right, and pay through the roof, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, like you said, I hope so too. I do think he's good enough to make them a threat and make you go, man, if they have one more piece, right? And it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be like, Jokic or something crazy, but at the same time, it'll probably have to be something significant. But I think that team can play great defense. I think he's a good young leader. I think he is going to be the veteran of the team already. But like you said, they do have other guards that are ready to plug and play. But hey,
Exactly.
if it doesn't work out, by year 3 of this, it'll be one more year to expiring contract. Then maybe somebody else will take him off their hands, and then they have the guards that they have in place because somebody else will be in a position to eat up that 1 year and move on from it. But who knows? he's still gonna have to show it, and he's gonna have to stay healthy because if he is that first round Sacramento Darren Fox that looked like he was gonna bounce the Warriors until he got banged up and stuff like that, then of course, yeah, sure, he looks like an all star. But
Yeah.
who knows? He just got hurt. We haven't
Yeah.
seen it since then. So
I mean, it was only his thumb. So right?
yeah, yeah,
I
it
think it was
wasn't
his
huge.
thumb. Yeah, yeah. I think it was
It
only his
wasn't
thumb. So
anything
I
else.
think, yeah, I think he'll be good. I don't think he's gonna take a step back at all. Like I think it
Sure.
just sucks of what happened, obviously, you know. And if it was a shooting hand, if I recall, if it is a shooting hand, obviously it's hard as hell to grip a basketball like that. So you know, even to pass it, to shoot it, to dribble, whatever the case may be, it's hard to him to do that. So for him to go down with that injury and get surgery for it and stuff like that, yes, it's significant, but I don't think it's gonna make him take a step back.
Yeah, me neither. I just want to see how he plays with Wemby because before he
Yeah,
was just playing by
mhm.
himself, you know.
That's right. That's
So,
right. They haven't even played together. That's right. Or did they play like a few games?
yeah, I was gonna say maybe a little, but that's it. Not
Yeah,
nothing significant enough to me
yeah. I
to
think it was like a week or
evaluate.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So.